Welcome to the Social Bee podcast with your host, Louise Brogan. Every week, Louise will be bringing you a podcast all about women entrepreneurs, talking about their challenges, their goals, and inspiring you to either start your own business or grow the business you have. Visit www.socialbni.com to join our community and pick up some lovely freebies to start marketing your business online today.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Social Bee podcast. Today I am delighted to welcome Louise Humphrey to the podcast. Louise and I met in London at Chris Ducker's Youpreneur Summit in November last year, which was 2017. Briefly, we were part of a roundtable mastermind, but also when I had arrived at the summit, they'd accidentally mixed up our name badges and I had Studio 44 Pilates on my name badge. And it's just so serendipitous because now I'm actually signed up to Studio 44 Pilates. So there we are. So Louise, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So if you want to start, Louise, really by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your business and your products and services.
I am a Pilates teacher and I started teaching Pilates just locally to my area about 17 years ago. And I was working full-time in a health chain at the time. I was their regional fitness trainer, so I was travelling all over the place, but I did my Pilates qualification with them. And I started some local classes at the time, so that was brilliant, and I love it, and I loved it. Then I got made redundant.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, actually, it was when I'd just given birth to my son at the time, and I was on maternity leave, so they couldn't make me redundant straight away. But because I knew it was coming, I built up my classes locally.
What cheeky articles!
I know. It was an interesting time, I have to say. But so I built my classes up. So by the time that I was made redundant, I had something to go into to help us out. So my poor son has just known me teaching evenings, daytimes. You know, that's all he's known.
Well, that's good. So he's nice and flexible then.
He is very flexible, bless him.
Probably physically as well, having a mum.
Oh, yes, he's a boy, so he might not be. But part of the reason for doing that was so that I could spend time with him. I could work around him to a certain extent, and also that during the school holidays, especially the summer holidays, you know, I didn't have to work. Mm-hmm. So that was brilliant. But what I found frustrating was that I obviously wasn't earning anything during that time. So there we were spending more money in the holidays, but so by the time September came, I was raring to get back to work. So, and the other thing also that was that my clients, we'd have 6 weeks off and they would not practice. Which is quite, I'm sure anyone who does Pilates or any exercise realises that you have all these moments when you don't do anything.
Yes.
But I was getting really frustrated because a lot of people came to me for they had back issues, injuries or stiffness, or just needed to move more to keep themselves being functional in everyday lives. And so I started all sorts of things. I did a little paper sheet for them to practice. That didn't really work. I did some YouTube videos, which are still out there and quite scary to watch. And then last year I sort of hit on this membership, which is 10-minute Pilates practice videos online, and literally all the videos are 10 minutes long. They might be 12, but yeah, most of them are 10. And just to keep people, because one of the biggest things people say to me is that they haven't got time or they can't remember the exercises. So that was where it all started from, basically.
That's brilliant. It's really interesting. My first ever client in social media is my local Pilates instructor, Lindsay, and she's a lovely girl. She does Pilates classes locally. When she started out one night a week, I think she's got them running 3 nights a week, and she definitely has at least 2 classes a night. She works. She's also a part-time physio in Belgium.
Brilliant.
And I did her Facebook page for her because she just said to me, I must tell her to have a listen into this actually. Hi Lindsay. And I said, Lindsay, you need a Facebook page to get more people to grow your classes, because back then she only had a Thursday night class.
Yeah.
And she says, but I don't know, I'm rubbish with all that stuff. So I said, well, look, I'll do it for you, because then you can be like my sample client that I go to other people and say, look, this is what I did with Lindsay. So now she was my first ever, like, she didn't pay me because it was I was doing it for her because I wanted an example client who wasn't connected to me by blood. And so that was really fun. So I have all those, funny images about, oh, I thought you meant pie and latte.
Yes. Or pirates, as a lot of people call it.
But I said to her I think I told her about you, and I said, Lindsay, you should be putting your classes online. And she's like, no, not. She's just a technophobe, which is fine. So I'm so impressed that you have embraced this, because I don't think a lot of people in your space would think about.
There's a lot out there, if you look. A lot of it on YouTube. And there's one sort of big one that I suppose where half the idea came from was Pilates Anytime, which is more for teachers to get to use and to get ideas from, and it can be quite technical. But I was just really wanted it to be doable for people, and that's why I sort of did the 10 minutes. And if you do it daily, it does make a difference. So
you also have all the technique videos as well, which I think is really important.
Yeah, no, technique. Well, that's for the summer membership at the moment, is it? So I did this just as I will do again, this summer membership with, sort of limited time to use the library of videos.
Yeah.
I wanted to build on it and do the technique, which I will incorporate into the sort of normal membership, I think, as we go along.
Yeah,
so it's just evolving as we go.
Well, online business doesn't it? It changes all the time.
No, it's fascinating, actually, because you sort of come across things and you think, oh, that will work or that won't work. But what I like about, I suppose, having the Facebook group with it is that you can trial things and see what works and what doesn't without sort of spending the money on the website and doing it that way, first of all.
You get instant feedback too, don't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
So what would you say, Louise, was really your biggest challenges in getting this online business part up and running?
Looking back now, a year down the line, my naivety in it all. I really believe in what I've produced. Mm-hmm. And to start with, I was actually really lucky because I launched it just before the summer holidays, and a lot of my clients took it on board straight away.
Oh, good.
And a lot of them are still there. So I didn't really have to go out into the sort of market so much. But now, obviously, I do, because there's obviously a limited resource through my clients that I've got. Mm-hmm. And so I'm finding that now is my biggest challenge. I invested into the original concept, so I got a professional website done. Mm-hmm. And again, that just takes all the stresses away from, because otherwise you spend so much time just learning things and setting up, and that's not me. I'm, the Pilates side, that's what I want to do.
Yes.
So it is worth investing, some money into it if you think it's going to go. I know there's lots of things I did wrong. I didn't really do enough market research, and I didn't know where it was going. Mm-hmm. To get clients, I suppose, to get members.
Mm-hmm. So what I find there, first of all, really interesting for people who are listening is when I think it takes a while in business to come to this understanding, but when you realize that paying for somebody else to do the stuff that would take you ages to learn how to do. So yes, of course you can create your own website, but if it's going to take you 3 weeks, you're going to pull all your hair out. You're better to invest in paying somebody who's an expert at that to do it in a much quicker time and much more professional way. And I think a lot
they know more as well. I mean, you can explain your idea to them.
Yes.
And they get it, or they say, well, you can't do that, but we could do that, and actually that's a better way of doing it.
Oh, so true. And I think, I don't know, it seems to be there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there in Facebook groups who almost wear it as a badge that they're proud that they aren't spending any money on anything. But then I'm thinking, but then you're not growing.
No, and it's taken me a while to see that, because when you start, and it is complete naivety. I look back now and I think, what were you doing? Because it wasn't until I launched it in July 2017, mm-hmm. actually I didn't do much with it for the first 6 months because my husband had a big accident, so that sort of took over.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until my photographer told me about Youpreneur, and that was the start of the journey of finding the online people like yourself, you know, Chris Ducker and things like that. And I started to see more online, and you pick up bits.
This episode is brought to you by the Social Bee Academy, your online learning space to market and grow your business. With monthly training, live group coaching calls, a thriving community and resource library. If you're looking for learning, focus and accountability, the Social Bee Academy is for you. Come and check it out at www.louisebrogan.com.
And yeah, that is good to start with, picking up the bits that are free, but then it gets to the point where you're like, actually, I need to know more.
Yes.
And I don't quite understand what they mean by that, so how am I going to find out about it?
Yeah.
But so it's a whole new challenge. It certainly is.
Yeah, and it's always changing, always learning about stuff. Yeah. I mean, I pay for, so, I mean, I have my membership, the Social Bee Academy, which is open also, this will be, when this episode goes out, it's August 2018, so the doors are open at the minute.
Which I am a member of.
Which you are a member of. And I'm a member of a couple of other membership sites where, I mean, it's almost like being able to just go in there and get the training that you need, or go in there and ask. So the membership guys, Callie and Mike, so the membership guys, I am a member of their membership site on membership sites, so meta. But I am able to just go in there and ask a question and get an answer, and that's it, rather than fluffing around trying to figure out stuff. And it's just I think you and I have the same mindset, I think, about investing to grow, and I think it's just a very...
Yeah, and it is quite frightening, because I'm thinking now, and we were talking earlier, but I'm sort of thinking now what I'm putting into it, and I'm seeing what's coming back at the moment. And yeah, that is quite frightening. But I also, the one thing I did do when I first started out, because my husband's a businessman, and I sort of did a little business plan because I wanted to get him on board, because actually it does take up, it's not just me doing Pilates videos. I have to do the blogs, I have to do everything else.
Yeah.
And, the sales part of it. And I work late into the evening. If I'm not teaching, I work into the evening. And he has been so supportive of me that's been really good. But we also said we'll give it 3 years. Yes. So I know it's not a quick rich scheme, but I know that it takes time to build it to what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no overnight success in online business, I don't think.
I don't, but people claim there is out there.
Yeah, the people who claim that there is are putting a ton of money in behind what they're doing, and that's very different and possibly not entirely honest, I think.
No, and I think you learn that because you see, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there when you go out looking for it. And I wish I had known that in July 2017. I might have done things slightly differently, but you learn what's good and what's bad, and I think it's all about joining some Facebook groups, free Facebook groups, and getting to know the person that that's hosting them or whatever, and seeing if they're your fit.
Yes, I think I've become very good at spotting the fakes.
Yes.
Oh dear. But anyway, so Louise, let's talk a bit more about you and your business journey. What have been some of your high points so far?
I think sort of Pilates-wise, and it does help, is a difference I can make to people's lives, and that's all ages. Yeah. I've had some really nice feedback from people, and one just recently, actually, which I think I took as a compliment. But she was sort of saying that she was so refreshed to see that I was just a normal person. I have taken this as a compliment, not in sort of, skimpy lycra and, as skinny as anything. And that made her feel comfortable doing it. So for me, that's what it's all about. If I can get people that are not normally fitness people or Pilates people doing things, then that's my achievement. That's my success as far as I'm concerned. So
now, while she said that, and she did mean it as a compliment, I know exactly what she means, because I've got a kettlebell, and I've been trying to do some kettlebell stuff on YouTube, and some of the people are so crazy that I'm not even watching their videos. But I will say, you do look like the fittest